All right, amidst all these protests, I want to bring in these House leadership elections that are going on as we speak. They're expected to be rather perfunctory, not so much on the Democratic side where they delayed their own elections. I want to get the read from a key caucus member, House Freedom Caucus member, Congressman Steve King, of course, just back from handily winning re-election himself. Congressman, good to have you.
Good to be back, Neil. Thanks.
It sounds like a lot of the infighting and all that got a lot of press attention during the campaign among Republicans, that seems to be settled. And now it's the Democrats whose own infighting got zero attention. That's quite another matter. What do you make of the odd turn of events?
Well, we have to think that there's an effort to remove Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she has led that caucus over there for a long time, as long as I've been in this town and then some. And so now that they've been devastated in this election, when they had all of the tools and all the anticipation that they would sweep through and at least pick up significant seats in the House, they failed to do that. And I'm going to say that's a reflection of infighting, that the last-minute announcement that they would delay these leadership votes, that says that there's a real challenge to Nancy Pelosi. And on the Republican side, it seems considerably smoother today, Neil.
You know, Congressman, one thing I did not say, there was talk that whether the Freedom Caucus or other members would try to put up a challenger to Speaker Ryan. That does not appear to be the case, and ultimately bygones were bygones. And hearing Paul Ryan today, he was singing Donald Trump's praises, says he's talked to him every day since the election. So are they copacetic now? How would you describe it?
Well, I would say it works out this way, that I think people are reflecting on this, that Donald Trump reached out to Paul Ryan right away after the election. They've been in dialogue at least once a day, sometimes more than that, every day since the election. I think the biggest signal is this, that when Donald Trump named Reince Priebus as his chief of staff, then that message is he wants to work with Paul Ryan as Speaker. That linkage back through Wisconsin and that linkage to their personal friendship sends a strong message to House Republicans that if the President-elect of the United States has made his commitment to work with this leadership team, then we need to continue our commitment to work with the President-elect and this leadership team to line up the Trump agenda and just go with a no-huddle offense here come January 3rd.
I noticed that the leadership has been very quiet about a similar key appointment of that of Steve Bannon as, I guess, administration chief strategist, whatever you want to call it, setting up, obviously, what could be a battle with Reince Priebus in the chief of staff position. But no one in your party that I know of, in the higher-ups like yourself, has talked about that. Or are you saying this is fine, you can deal with it? What?
Well, I'm glad you asked it, Neil, because there's a couple of different ways to interpret that. One is, did Donald Trump reach in and select Reince Priebus because he wants somebody that can do the nuts and bolts, the day-to-day operations, make the trains run on time, and connect with the Speaker of the House and the function of government here in the Capitol? I think that's a big part of his decision. But also having Steve Bannon as the chief strategist is just terrific. The people that know Steve Bannon, I am one of them, who counts him as a good friend and one who admires his intellect, his patriotism, his history. And he and I have worked together for years back, in the earlier years of Andrew Breitbart. And so when I know Steve Bannon for a long time, I watch how he thinks. I'm very, very impressed, and I think he's in the perfect place as chief strategist. He's not going to be bogged down by the nuts and bolts. He's going to be the guy that's really creating and generating and empowering a strategy from the White House that's coherent, principled, constitutional, and conservative.
You're the only one in leadership, sir, who has talked about that and said that, and many would probably agree with you, but when I don't hear it out of the others, I wonder, are they just hoping Steve goes away, or that this issue gets lost in future cabinet appointments, that sort of stuff? What?
Well, I just don't think that they know him that well. When I think of the circles that he travels in and the places where I've seen Steve Bannon, he's been in the trenches working away, but he hasn't reached out and made relationships across the hill in the fashion you might think. So I think they just need to get to know him. And of course, we're watching the left now launch an assault on Steve Bannon and do a critical thinking on him, picking out little quotes and things and trying to embellish that and trying to get America energized against him. This isn't a position that's confirmed. This is Donald Trump's decision. It's a terrific decision, and he is the person who really was the general behind the scenes on this whole campaign. So I'm glad this decision is made, and I'm glad that we've got a real strategist there as the chief strategist in the White House.
Yeah, I just don't remember, to your point, 8 years ago, Republicans making a stink out of, you know, who Barack Obama chose as chief of staff or key insiders, many of whom had extreme liberal positions that were anathema to a lot of you guys. So I guess what's good for the goose isn't necessarily for the gander.
And you know, Neil, it's not Republican stock and trade to play the race card, the bigot card, the white supremacist card. I mean, the Democrats have been into this name-calling and disparagement for way too long. And what they're facing now is the backlash from overplaying that hand. It's about being, first, God's children, second, being all Americans together, and then third, being patriots that adhere to the text and the original understanding of the Constitution. All of that can come, and I'm exhilarated about the opportunities.
Congressman, good chatting with you again. Thank you very, very much.
It is. Thank you, Neil.